morning, it's Q&A day. I'm David.
And I'm John. You ready to do this?
Morning, John.
Okay.
What we got?
So we got a question from Facebook. Ding! And I'm not looking at the question right now, but it has something to do with ground glass for countertops or other uses, and concrete and ASR. So if you don't know what alkali-silica reactivity is, it's where alkalis in your concrete matrix or grout or mortar matrix attack the silicahedron or the silica tetrahedrons or other types of silicas to create an expansive gel that, and you know this better, create stresses within the concrete that overcome the tensile and shear capacity of the hydrated cement matrix and ultimately cause your concrete to fail. And normally it's like gel coming out of the concrete. It has this, I guess, 120-degree crack pattern that looks like the Isle of Man flag.
Right. You wrote the book on that.
I did. It's a great book. It's a great book.
ABCs of ASR.
Oh, you stop now.
That'd be you.
That would be me. Fantastic book, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so the question was that I received is, how come does or doesn't glass, crushed glass, create ASR?
And what's the answer?
Well, before I give Dave, here's the thing. David and I already started talking about it, and then Pachuli's like, what are you doing? We need to put a camera on you guys. So that's we already started the conversation, but I wouldn't mind, I gave too much information that we can't share yet, because that's a project that we have to do.
Yeah, we've got that on the to-do list for sure.
And we're gonna do a video on it. Anyway, so the question is, does the glass crushed up, will it create the same environment for alkali-silica reactivity?
And the answer is?
I've seen it. I have seen it. I've seen different types of glass, and what we have to recognize is that glass is a manufacturing process. And it's taken from a parent material, heated up to a molten state, and then it's laid out in a mold or in another place, and it's formed up, right? Or it's molded.
Right.
Now, that manufacturing process, they're not all the same. And just because it's in a molten state doesn't mean it's not going to get impurities from other stuff, or is what I'm trying to say making sense?
Yeah, in the ASTM committee, the Supplementary Cementitious Committee, there's a standard coming through for recycled glass.
Right.
And they're differentiating between plate glass and bottles and
right.
all different kinds of glass. So the standard that's coming forward supports what you're saying, that different kinds of glass have different kinds of characteristics. And
I think it's not just the question was color. And does green glass, is that the only glass that repels or is resistant, like it's chemically inert to alkali-silica reactivity?
I'm a data guy, I don't know.
And I am the science guy of the company, and I really haven't done enough research into this, and that's what David and I were talking about. But I would love to make a hypothesis or an educated guess, a guesstimate, if you will.
Right.
I don't want to say I trademarked it, but I feel like I kind of made it up. Anyway, so the my opinion is on the color of glass. Normally, when we change the color of something, we do it with some type of an iron oxide or some type of a pigment,
right.
But an impurity just like the impurities that I was talking about a couple minutes ago.
Right.
And one of the things that you can also assume is that when we use colored glass versus clear glass, it's normally a more premium product.
Wow.
So it could be that any colored glass, which is going to be made in a better manner, processed more, is going to be less reactive than glass that isn't processed as much. Or glass that has been processed from a recycled state, and I don't know if green and brown glass are the ones that are most recycled, but I remember talking to somebody years ago, this was in the late 80s, about one of the hardest things with recycling is that you don't get that perfect color. You get a recycled look, and brown, that brown look you can sometimes get, but even that one, you don't always get that. So it could be that it's not just the color, it's the processing.
Right.
Now, what are your thoughts?
On glass, I just don't know, John. Like I said, it's obviously a big field. ASTM's coming forward with a new standard on recycled glass. Those folks have worked on that pretty hard. It appears to have a cementitious effect.
Really? The silica in there, the
Yeah.
amorphous? And that's what glass is.
Right.
Amorphous, which is more reactive pozzonically. I don't know if it's more reactive, like if it's going to use the alkalis to create that ASR if they're present after hydration.
Yeah, so it's emerging.
Right.
We always look at emerging topics, but you know, I'm the data guy. I'm the put the stamp on it guy. I just don't know.
So what I think, there's nothing wrong with that answer.
Yeah.
You know, we are not all knowing.
Yeah.
None of us are.
If only.
No, well that's the thing. Life would be boring.
Yeah.
If you can't answer questions like, why is Whitney mad at me again? If I knew why all the time, it wouldn't be as fun. And that means us and you. What we were talking about upstairs, which I can't really share, was this idea that brings some, and I don't know if I'm using this word right, edification to that question.
Right.
Does the type of glass matter?
I think the answer to that's yes.
Does the size, shape, gradation of the glass matter?
I think the answer to that is yes.
And what does content do if it does create an environment for ASR to be born, thrive, and survive?
Yeah, I think the glass people are working hard on that. As I said, this new standard is going to differentiate between different types of glass. So yeah, they're working hard on that, and I think that's going to be a big step for this glass question.
You know, but I think the question that we were asking, the one that I was asking earlier,
Right?
that would be a fun project. It's a very specific way, because I understand there's there's universities that have been doing this, but to ask the question that I asked, I think that's a project we could do. You just have to convince resources.
Obviously a topic for later then.
Topic for later. And well, that's the thing, you know, we did a video on bendable concrete, and somebody said, you know, in an internet snarky tone, and Patchouli says I shouldn't let this stuff get to me, but I do, I let it motivate me. So it was like, sure you're gonna do those mixes. And you could hear the tone, Patchouli. You could hear the tone. So that mix we're gonna end up doing, I think we're gonna do these first, because while bendable concrete is cool, ASR is a real problem.
It's a big one.
And we've got a pretty cool spin on it. I think so.
We do.
All right, well, thanks for joining us today. We are happy to bring you this Q&A. Ding! Thanks for joining us today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out our books. We're pretty awesome people. Go Concrete!
Beat asphalt.